This, what we're doing right here, this is part of our Real Dads Week. We've been doing Real Dads Week for 14 years. This is our 14th year of doing Real Dads Week. What we do on Real Dads Week, we have a lot of events. We have awards. We have a family fun day. Tomorrow we have a Real Dads comedy with comedian talent. On Saturday we have a spoken word. It's going to be a tribute to fathers. So we just promote positive like fathers in everything that we do. So this is our kickoff because we had to cancel the other because it was raining on Saturday. But I just want to thank everybody for coming out and also thank our panel. And also just want to give credit to Kevin Rowley in terms of the work that he does in regards to uplifting fathers. So Kevin, I want you to speak for
Oh, that's a while ago, man. No, I'm good. So, good evening, everyone. Once again, I am Kevin Rowley, the council member in this area. I want to thank Derek Phillips for the Real Dads Network. I also have a dad organization called the Dad Gang with my partner, Shawn Williams, and the rest of the Dad Gang group. But we wouldn't be able to start the Dad Gang if it wasn't for Derek Phillips. And started the Real Dads Network. And I just want you guys to understand, there isn't space out there for us. That's what we realized. When we're talking about support services for fathers, there isn't any care for fathers out there. And that's something that Derek has made very vital to me. And that's why when we went to City Hall and we did put in this resolution, we want to make fathers know that they do matter. We want to recognize fathers in the month of June because when you look at Mother's Day is glamorous. When you get to Father's Day, sometimes fathers don't get that glamorous love. And we need that love because it takes a father and mother to create a beautiful, beautiful baby. All right, so we need to understand that, and we need to create space for these fathers as well. But most importantly today, we got some NBA dads, y'all. This is amazing. These brothers come out here and speak to us and just let us know their journey to get their sons in the NBA, their journey as a father. That's important. I just want you all to see, all the kids in the room, all the teenagers in the room, pay attention. Pay attention, because you have individuals that care about you within this community. And I want to also give it up to my brother Eric Hicks from Game Over. These are programs that happen in our community, and Eric does this not for money, not for recognition, but he does it because he cares about the community. And that's who we really want to highlight and praise. So thank you so much, Derek. I will be remiss if I do not do a shameless plug. Yoga is very important, man. It's important to stretch out, take care of your mental health and your self-care. And they're having a Father's Day yoga retreat, June 17th. So if you're interested, please scan this. Without further ado, I think it's time to speak.
Also just got to make sure we thank also YMCA as well.
Yes. Yeah. So Megan, Mike, listen, this is my home, y'all. This is my home. I was here all day, but I'm always here because this is what this place was for. We wanted a safe space in the community for everyone in the community to come to, and Megan, Mike, and the rest of the Y team has made this a safe space. Anytime we ask them to do an event, they open the doors. So if you're not part of the Y, join the Y because this is a home for everybody within this community. So thank you so much for providing space for us. All right?
Thank you. So, Councilmember, thank you for those great words about the YMCA. But really, we're here because of your great work, the work of Speaker Carl Hasty and Senator Jamal Bailey, who wanted to have a community space like this. And we welcome all the groups that are here today to come and join, or just even hold other events. You know, the Real Dad, Game Over, Father and Men Basketball. Like, this is the reason why the Y exists, so we can have these conversations. And you know, I am honored. My name is Michael Rivadeneira. Mike is perfectly fine. I'm the Vice President for Government Relations, the YMCA of Greater New York. So, just introducing myself, but if it wasn't for the opportunity that Kevin has given me to actually have this conversation with other fathers, you know, I don't know if I have that space to talk to other fathers, especially other fathers of color. And that's what we're bringing here today. So Without further ado, I do want to have these wonderful men introduce themselves, first with Mr. Shammgod.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Karl Shammgod. I have a son right now that is an assistant coach for the Dallas Mavericks. He's been with the organization for 7 years, and he is the development coach for the Dallas Mavericks. He went to LaSalle High School. He went to Providence College. Then he got drafted in 1997 by the Washington Wizards. He played 2 years in the NBA, and he went overseas. I'm proud of him. He's done a great job. And for you dads, this is the curse. He got 6 sons and no daughters. So y'all figure that out. So, but anyway, I contribute the basketball side of my life to my son. I played football, love football, played basketball, recreation. I never, and I want to repeat this, because I want you young men and women to know that if you have a dream, you can achieve your dream. My son started playing basketball at 6 years old at the LaGuardia houses down in Harlem, and excelled from there. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the household with him, so I had to be the dad from the outside. I did not make children or have children to be either a deadbeat dad or a parent that wasn't there. So I made sure that I was in his life. He hid basketball from me to the age of 16. A nimble runner that I knew in Harlem. The young man with the orange hood told me that he was at the Rice High School with Sham, Majestic, and all of them. Him and Majestic was rivals. So this number runner used to always go to the high school game. He said, "Man, your son played the other night, man, and he lit them up." "What are you talking about?" He said, "Yeah." So when I asked my son, he said, "The reason I never said nothing, Dad, is because I wanted to make sure that I was great and that I was good at it so you could be proud of it." I said, "No, my man. When support is given, I want to be there for the worst time to celebrate the finished touch." So from that point on, I never missed a game in my son's life. And I tell him all the time, he's a blessing. And I tell him that I'm proud of him because I might have made our name great in the United States, but my son made our name great all over the world because he has played all over the world. So he did something that his dad didn't do. One last thing before I turn it over to the other brother. I joined the Fathers and Men of Professional Basketball about 2 years ago. And the reason why I joined the group is that I've always felt that Black men especially always got a bad rap when it came to their children. We was deadbeats, we wasn't around, we didn't care. And I knew that that wasn't true. But they had the mothers of the NBA. And I knew them very well. And I'm saying, wow, where is the group at? So I was down in New Orleans just for Tom Joyner last family reunion that he did in New Orleans. And lo and behold, and this gentleman can tell you, lo and behold, at 6:30 in the morning, Tom Joyner was doing something and he introduced the Fathers and Men of Professional Basketball. Well, I almost broke my neck trying to get to the stage, but I'm saying, where did these guys come from? So the first member that I met was Marvin Williams. He gave me, a brief summary of what the group was. When they started coming off the stage, I introduced myself. That Saturday, they did a forum with the kids at the gym down in New Orleans, and I came over to see what they was about. And I immediately told them, "Listen, man, I'm down. And I've been with them ever since, and as we get into the session, there's other things I want to say, but I want to just say that, you guys can do anything that you want. Parents, the biggest thing that we can do for our children is not allow them to live our dreams, but let them live their dreams and hold them responsible for it. You can't do what they want to do because you might work to be taking care of them and bringing them up right. If you want to do piano, let them take the lesson, but hold them and say, my man, you going if you don't want to go. And it's not a forced thing, you're just teaching them responsibility. Thank you.
My name is Marvin Williams Sr. I'm the father of former NBA basketball player Marvin Williams Jr. Before I talk about my son real briefly, I want to tell you guys I'm honored. I love coming to New York because I'm a native New Yorker. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, in Brownsville. I went to PS 156. I grew up on Legion Street, Pickett Avenue.
Yes, sir.
And I learned the game of basketball actually in Brooklyn from a friend of mine named Montgomery. I eventually wrote a book. I wrote it during COVID called Secondary Break NBA Dad Story. I love the book, but when I talk about it, sometimes I get emotional because parenthood, I grew up in a family during this time in Brooklyn where my dad was an alcoholic, my mom was an alcoholic, he was abusive. I've gotten stabbed by my mom and hit upside the head several times growing up as a kid by my dad. And so I talk about it in the book, and also what I talk about in the book, it's on Amazon, by the way, if you want to get it. What I talk about in the book is, as a kid, from a kid's perspective in my eyes, trying to understand parenting. My dad was one of those old school guys that if I bought food and put it on the table, you had clothes to go to school to wear, then you should be okay. I shouldn't have to tell you I love you. So for all my life, and I talk about this all my life, all I ever wanted my dad to do was say he loved me once. And I think my dad, when I was 40 years old, my dad came down with cancer, and I was living in Seattle, Washington, and I came home, and my son had signed with the University of North Carolina to play basketball. And my dad's last words to me were, he said, I don't care what nobody say about you, but don't you worry, you did all right by me. So for me, I took that as him saying, I love you, without him saying he loved me. And so with him and my mom having their issues, I knew that being a good father was that was my main priority in life. And when I had Marvin, I was in the military, and I was in Seattle, Washington. I had Marvin, thank you. I had Marvin, and I knew my mom wanted me to come back home after I got out of the military and all. I said, no, I got a child to take care of. I had gotten out of the military, I had no job options, I had nowhere to live, but I knew where my son lived. And so his mother always made sure that I had a place to stay until I got myself on my feet. But every single day, if she moved, if my son's mama moved, I don't care who I was dating or what I was doing or whatever job I had, I'm leaving that job because I'm going with my son. And to this day, my son lives 5 miles from me. To this day, he's 36 years old.
Yes, sir.
I think being a father, being a parent, period, is one of the best things a human being could ever achieve. It's a gift. I always look at it as something. God gave us a job. He entrusted us with his kids, and it's our job to take care of the kids until they get to where they can repeat the same thing. My son, he's from Seattle, Washington. He grew up in Seattle. In 2004, 2005, he decided that he was 17 years old. The NBA was trying to get him to come out of high school. He decided he was better off. I thought he was better off because the numbers weren't right for him to go to college. So he went to the University of North Carolina. He became a national champion his first year of college. Yes. And then he moved on. He moved on and got drafted. He was the number 2 player picked in the 2005 draft by the Atlanta Hawks. He played 15 years in the league, but every step of the way, I ran his whole business affairs until he became old enough to run it. But every step of the way, I made sure he knew I was the dad and he was the child. Because I think too many times I'm watching the NBA that people don't see it. The roles get reversed when that kind of money's in play. The child becomes the parent if the parent allows that. And you can't allow that. At the end of the day, my son's 36 right now. He'll call me on the phone, hey dad, I want to buy a new car. He got a $5 million house. But he'll call me, hey man, can I buy a new car? Do it make financial sense? Yeah, if you don't do it. That's what your job is. Your job is always gonna be to be a parent, especially dads. We gonna catch grief, but that's the most fun job you got. Be a dad. Whether you got girls or boys, be a dad. Because I think that at the end of the day is gonna be the most joy you ever have in your life when you look back on it. My son, he's currently coaching with the Charlotte Hornets, and he loves every second of it. He's a dad. He got 2 daughters. He can't stop being away from the house, being with the girls. Every time I talk to him, he's sitting at the house with the girls. I'm proud of him. Yeah. And I'm proud of you guys that you parents that brought your kids out here. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
So my name is Chris Jones. My son is Dominique Jones, FEMA 3-on-3 named Team Harlem. Made the Olympics 2021, college All-American. And my story is a little different. I actually had my sons to myself. I have 2 sons. Actually, one of them actually coaches at Karl Anthony High School here in the Bronx. And my sons, their mother's in the picture, but I thought I was the better parent for the 2 boys. So I actually took my sons and raised them for 10 years. And it was a beautiful thing at the end of the day. And until they got about 16, 17 years old, and they were here before me at the end of the day. But during the course, it was a great thing. I did everything with them, from homework to chess to just going out every weekend. And if this was a beautiful thing, every weekend, they would say to me, "Dad, what are we doing this weekend?" And that let me know that I was doing a great job at the end of the day. When it came to food, I learned how to cook by my test dummies. If it wasn't good, they let me know, but you still had to eat. But it was a great experience as a father. My father was in my life until I was like 16 years old, and he decided to just leave the family and things like that. But I wasn't mad at him because he disappeared for 8 years and he came back. I didn't know if he was dead or alive. But I wasn't mad at him because I was doing great as an adult at that time. So there's no reason to be mad at him because he did his job and I was a product of him doing what he did at the end of the day. But I still play ball, not like these guys here. I still play the basketball and things of that nature at 60 years old. And when I look at you young guys, I just see just so much potential in you guys. And when I look at the shootings and the games, I just look at a bunch of young guys that they're just asking for help at the end of the day. They want to be part of something. And if there's anything that fathers can do is to help you young guys understand who you are, where you can go, and the possibilities and which you have within yourself. So, as a dad, it's a beautiful thing. And I want you guys to know that if you ever need me, I'm here for all of you guys. So my story is short and sweet. Pass it on the phone.
Good evening. I just want to say it's great to be here at the Bronx, at the YMCA. My son is Karl Anthony Towns of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm a dad of 4. Everybody knows my son because he's a star from TV. But people fail to realize that when I'm a dad from 4 because people don't understand something. I lost my wife to COVID. So I'm dad and mom. So when I talk about dad, I talk about the success of all my kids. I talk about my daughter, who's in Boston, she's a neurosurgeon. I talked about my other son, who's an executive for Disney. And I talked about my other daughter, who's an executive for the Board of Education. But everybody only knows me as Karl Anthony Towns' dad. But I don't ever stay focused on him because when you're a dad, you have to understand that you're a dad for all your kids. So when it's Father's Day, I get 4 calls from all my kids, my grandkids. But in the Karl story, 2015, #1 NBA pick, been on the Minnesota Timberwolves 8 years. And I emphasize him only because His mother was everything to him. So when he lost his mother, it was a test. People understand something. This is why I get emotional. That's why I really like to talk about the story. But when you lose someone for a reason and nobody can explain to you, it's hard to explain to your kids what happened. In Carl's case, she was everything, and he's out there in the basketball season, and all of a sudden they're gonna call him and tell him your mom passed away. So now his mental health is being tested. I'm a psychologist, so I talk about mental health every day. And people don't understand. And if you don't learn anything from me, young men, parents, this mental health thing is real.
Yes.
And you know, I tell people, and I was just telling people at Rutgers when I spoke on Thursday, last Thursday, this week, bro. Speak again this week. We need to start asking our kids more about what's happening in their day. We get so caught up in everything else that kids need to understand. I ask my kids every day, and I'm like Marvin, I don't care how much money my kids got, I'm dad. They know when I call you, better answer the phone. If you don't answer the phone, you better tell me why you didn't answer the phone. Because they don't understand, I'm calling for a reason. I tell people all the time this, I don't need my kids' money. I worked all my life so they can have money.
Yep.
People understand something. I'm good. I was good before my son got to the NBA, before my daughter was a neurosurgeon. I was good. Because you know what people feel good? I paid for them to go to school. They didn't pay for me. So somewhere I was always good. They just happy to make what I gave them an opportunity and turned it into success on their own. So this is why I say every day, I call my son was in Dubai. I was just telling Marvin, I woke that cat at 3 o'clock in the morning, what you doing? He said, I'm sleeping, it's 9 hours ahead. Oh, right, my bad. I'll call you in 9 hours from now. I call my daughter every day, she got grandkids. I call my daughter, she's a surgeon. She has pressure every day. Her mental health is being pressed every day. She's in that world out there. During COVID, I thought she was having a nervous breakdown because she was in the hospital 18, 19 hours a day. I called my son at Disney. Yeah, he don't be having too much mental stress. He be on the rides and stuff. I don't know. I don't know where he be going. So I'm like, Dad, I'm good. I'm like, you good, bro. But no, I just make fun of it. But I'm always aware of what my kids are doing every day. Because I don't want my kids to ever think that I don't got their back. Like, people fail to realize, oh, Father's Day coming. What do you, and they say, Dad, what do you want? You know what I said? A phone call. I don't need nothing. If I want something, I'll go buy it myself. I tell people all the time, I don't need what they earn because I get reward every day from their success.
Right. Yes.
Amen.
And that's why I tell people, they say, oh, your son is rich. You know what I hate more than anything? If you ever see me in the street, don't say this. Your son is rich. How come you working? I said, my son is rich. I'm good. People really realize that money is great. They earn what they have, but I'm a man of faith in God. I'm good every day I wake up. I'm good to see my kids doing well, and I'm good to the fact that I'm blessed to be on this earth because there's people in worse situations than I'm in. And I tell people all the time, yes, my Father's Day, like I said, it's just a phone call. They ain't gotta buy me jack. Because if they say, Dad, happy Father's Day, I know they're good. Because they call me. And I think people lose focus of what a dad is. You know what I mean? I say all the time, I'm a dad 24/7. I ain't a dad Monday to Friday and the weekends off. My kids could call me anytime. They just can't call me with 98 fiancés on. That's my show. So you already know. Call me Monday from 8 to 11. I ain't picking up. No, we play. But no, it's just glad to be here. I just want everybody to know that Father's Day to me and being here is rewarded. See the success, see kids come out there, see my man make the free throw, makes you look good. Remember? Right? And just being a chance to come back and give to the community. I mean, I'm blessed every day, and I just want everybody to understand something. Moms, dad, kids, understand something. The only thing I tell my kids every day, don't disrespect your parents. No, please. That's the worst thing. I won't even, seriously, I'm gonna tell you something. I will not even break bread with you if you disrespect your parents. Because you wanna know why? And only the older people understand this. I remember, disrespect your parents, get your own switch off the tree.
Yeah, well, for me it was a belt, so. Really inspiring. I love everything that I'm hearing from up here, and as a dad, you know, two things that I want to ask before we kick it off to the audience to actually engage and also, you know, come up with some questions, because we've got, you know, really inspiring men up here who are willing to share some advice on being a parent or just, you know, life itself. So my two questions, and then I was told, Mr. Towns, you're the one to answer this first question is, if you could talk about the organization Father Than Basketball.
Set you up for that.
Yeah, set me up. I told you, I'm ready to be on the turnpike. No, the organization, for all that know, I am the organization's Barack Obama. I'm the president. You know?
Give me the mic, give me the mic.
And it's an honor to be the president. I was just sworn in. My vice president is right there, Marvin Williams. And me and Marvin are the people behind the organization right now, following in the footsteps of all past presidents, the board, the biggest supporting group in the world, because we're new at this. But the organization's main goal is to do what we do. Go out in the community and help those in need of direction. When I became president and Marvin became vice president, our main goal was to get out there and try to enrich the minds of the young individuals who are sitting in this room and be advisors to parents who may not understand what is out there in terms of society's gifts and rewards. Because the reward is seeing today, him making a free throw, all these kids coming out today and just coming here to take time from their day to come and see us. Because my main goal is to inspire as many young kids as I can. I travel the country just talking to people. I'll be in New York next week talking to all the future NBA parents who believe in me, you know, who have dreams, you know. But it's those are the things we have to do. The organization started, I've been in here now, this is my 8th year, because I came in the first year my son got in the NBA, so he's going on year 9, so it's year 8. And I've seen nothing but progression. I've seen us travel the country speaking. Marvin is doing great things. He got a book. He just came from Spain. Clap it up for him. He's doing big things. Of course, we didn't go, but that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about another time. But it's those little things out there inspiring them. So the main objective of the organization is to promote awareness to the communities and go around opening doors and opportunities for other young individuals and being a spokesperson for adults, both in sports, mental health, and conditions outside the realm. Because a lot of people don't want to say their business in public, but it's always good to go back and turn to a brother like myself or these brothers up here if you want to talk behind the scenes and tell people. A lot of people have stuff that they don't want them to know that's happening in the world. But you know what? I'd rather you come and talk to me and give me a chance to help you than confine, and I say this, confine that inner hate inside and let it build to a point where you have to release it in ways that are not positive. You need to let yourself be heard. Young kids, I need to speak up. Adults, listen, we in the same boat. There's a lot of things that we go through that we try to keep inside, and you keep building up and taking in negative. That negative becomes an issue. Somewhere that negative's got to be released, and it's released in a way that you hope that it be detrimental to your future. Me, I don't mess with negative people. If you ain't positive, don't even break bread with me. Seriously, because you know what? If I want negative, I could just turn on the TV. I could just go on Twitter. I can go on TikTok. There's so much negative stuff on TikTok. I stopped buying stuff up there. No, I know it's funny, but you have to think about it. These are the things that mechanisms that are not really in a positive nature. They have good, they have bad, but you gotta understand something. Positive things bring positive results. The fathers and men group here, we're all about positive results because if they ain't true, we wouldn't be here today. We're here supporting you guys because we want to be a positive role model for these young individuals who may one day see us and say, how you doing, Mr. Shammgod? How you doing, Mr. Jones? How you doing, Mr. Williams? How you doing, Mr. Towns? I have a question. And that's what we want to do. We just want to be spokespersons for those in need, and the organization is open to anybody who has questions. You have to be a father of an NBA player, but you don't have to be in the organization to get answers.
Thanks for that. Actually, before I get to my second question, I want to open it up. Does anyone in the audience have a question?
Just a quick question. Thank you for the comment. Can you share a vulnerable moment you had with your sons?
Vulnerable moment?
Yes, a vulnerable moment.
Yes. I got it. I forgot. My vulnerable moment with my son was when he got drafted. As you guys, older guys, know, that the lottery pick get the cream of the crop when it comes to money. My son got drafted in the second round with the Washington Wizards. I was working for Verizon in the daytime and was going to school and working for a group home at night. And the biggest vulnerability and scare that came over me was the night of the draft, because the Knicks, they interviewed and they met with my son. I think that year they wanted John Williams or somebody. And they said that if he wasn't there, that they was gonna pick up my son, first round. It didn't happen. All them drafts went down, they get ready to go in the second round. What I thought about was the most was, if this kid don't get drafted, what could I say to him? And what could I do? Because now he done gave up his college eligibility and his scholarship. So that means that either he go overseas or play in different leagues around. And I had the vulnerability came because I had no answer for him. I'm saying, wow, 52 players, and if this guy don't make it, and trust me, when the Washington Wizards called, I almost fell out the window. Because I was so happy and relieved, because I was just thinking about the pain that he would go through. In 1997 in NCAA, he introduced the world to himself. And I mean this, they went to the Elite Eight. Had he stayed another year, he would have been one of the top 5 picks in the NBA. But he chose to come out, and him and I always talk, and I say, son, listen, in life, you're gonna have to make decisions. And you're gonna know if you're ready, and you're gonna know if you're not ready by the choices that you make. If he was in here today, he would have told you that I wish I stayed in school for another year. But just at that moment, as a dad, I did not know what to tell my kid if he didn't get drafted. Because all that he did in the beginning, it was getting ready to be washed down the drain. So I thank God for that moment, and he do the same.
I sit here and I think with Marvin, there's probably, for me personally, a lot of vulnerable moments. I think the one that sticks out the most to me is Marvin got drafted as the second player picked, and he went to the Atlanta Hawks. Now, when we went to Atlanta to do the introductory, the press conference, I noticed the coach wasn't there. So in my mind, I knew right away that that's an indication of him saying, I didn't approve of the team picking the draft. And I knew also, and I told my son, I said, you'll have trouble with him. And so as the season went on, he started, my son, you gotta mind, the dude is 18 years old. And you're talking to him, yelling and cursing at him like he's a 40-year-old man. So the first year I kind of let it go, but then the second year I started noticing it. And then my son was in the parking lot when we was getting in the car one day, he started crying. And so as a dad, there were several things going through my mind at that time, but I'd rather not say what that was. So I had an issue with how the coach was talking to my son. And then so I went to the staff and I told him, I said, hey, my job is not to defend my son, but you gotta understand this guy's 18 years old. He's coming home every day after a game crying. There's something wrong with that picture. And so I went to go try to talk to the coach, but there was a few people that told me, nah, I don't think that'd be a good idea. So I had to convince him for 6 years that you have to stay strong, that God, what God was doing, which is really true. I kept telling him, hey man, you gotta fight through this stuff because what God has a bigger plan for you. But you have to, sometimes you don't see it because it's right. You don't see that plan because you're so caught up in the moment of what's going wrong. And so every day for 6 years, I had to keep him motivated to go in the gym. And I would get up, his practice at 9, we get up at 7 and go in at 8 and shoot every day. And I talked to him the whole time and kept him motivated. And so after his 6th year, he left the team. But he went to Charlotte later and ended up going to the playoffs. And so I told him, I said, hey man, you became a better player going through that stuff that you was going through as an 18-year-old. Yeah. But God was trying to build you up. You didn't see it. And so to me, that was my most vulnerable moment with him, teaching him that some things you have to be strong through things, because sometimes God's going to take you down to build you up. Yes, and you got to see the long-term picture, not always get caught up in the short-term picture.
This vulnerability thing is serious. I got a lot of moments. So one of my most vulnerable situations with my son is when he tried out for the Orlando Magics and he didn't make it because he was too small. To me, he didn't work out hard enough at the end of the day. So it was that conversation of having with him that, I always feel like you're not working hard enough. I always tell my son you don't work hard enough at the end of the day. And that's kind of bad to tell your son you don't work hard enough, but I had to be real. If any father's going to do anything to his son is be real with your son at the end of the day. And losing his girlfriend just made him just a better person at the end of the day. I'm not trying to put his business out there. But that 9 months of his girlfriend, they engaged, almost to be married now, I gotta say that. But that was the most vulnerable for being such a big head and everything like that at the end of the day. And we had a lot of great conversations behind that because he was alone. He finally lost something in his life and he never knew what a loss ever was. And he lost his girlfriend. And that was the most vulnerable time in his life between me and him, because I had to console him every single day. I never got so many calls in my life from my son, but I spoke to him every single day. And I think he grew up a little bit. He told me the other day, actually, he said, if it wasn't for you, I have a grandson now, 3 years old. He said, if it wasn't for you, Grayson wouldn't be here. And I'm like, wow. I get recognized for something for a change. And that's my vulnerability moment.
I would have to say, try to explain to your son who lost his mom. I'm going to stop there. I'm good.
All right.
Anyone else? the question in the audience?
Hey, feel free to ask.
We got one.
Thank you. Ken Alexander, Real Dads Network. I wanted to get an idea of how much support does the NBA guys give you for your organization, and what are your takes on the John Morant incident? Because you are fathers in your lives and you guys lead the way, which the young men need that type of guidance and type of instruction.
Carl, I got it.
You got it.
Please turn off cameras.
Carl, you made a great point. I appreciate that. Listen, I'm just answering this question because the gentleman asked for it. The first thing you asked about was the NBA. The NBA dads, I never forget, in 2017, we did an event for the All-Star game, the dads. And the moms was there, they was doing something. The commissioner of the league was there. Our vice president at the time, Carl Jack. He went to the event while the other men went to do what we came to Chicago to do. And when it was over, we came back to the hotel. When Carlton Jack asked the commissioner why the NBA do not recognize the dads as they do the moms, he got a moment to say he had to be at another event and he left. That's the explanation that we got from him. Honestly, that was it. For our brother, the Morant family, all I could do is just say, listen, we gotta pray for them. That's the biggest thing that I can say. I got my own analysis. I'm upset and I'm angry with the situation. But I personally have never been a friend to my son. My job was dad throughout. If Sham was here, he would tell you I only laid hands, he's 47. I laid hands on him one time in my life, and trust me, homeboy didn't want to go through it anymore. He got the message, and I'm not abusing anything, but if my words can affect you, something else will. I pray that T. Morant embrace his son, and if they need help, that they seek the necessary help that they got. We are not punks, we are not wimps or anything else when we need to see someone regarding mental health. Amen. My brother and I wanted to just share this with the Bronx community. My brother and I, we have a mental health, during COVID, we came up and started a mental health group, and it's entitled, Men, You Are Not Alone. Because we know how serious it is that men keeps things inside and don't exhale like women do. And we meet once a month and we have great conversations and dialogue. And the thing that I'm most proud of, like they say in Vegas, what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. What we talk about in that room don't come out of that room. Because if it does, we're going to put them in back in the same state that we try to get them out of. Our other component is that we do is that we ask the men if they have sons or they have young men to bring them so that we can mentor them and share our resources with them. Men don't go to the doctors, none of that stuff. So we linked up with Lincoln Hospital that every time we have a meeting, we just had a cardiologist come in and speak about the heart, and we had somebody come in and speak about prostate cancer. And we do this on a daily basis because we gotta get our butts to the doctor. But for that family, I'm hoping the best, and I truly feel that, honestly, Silvers is he's gonna miss a lot of the season coming this year. So that's the best to say. I don't like the role that T's played, but who am I to say? But he don't need a friend. He need a dad, and his dad need to get that whatever element that is hindering his son the hell away from him. Oh, and one other thing. We did reach out when they was going through this. We did reach out, and he responded. He said he got it. And everybody deserved their privacy, try to figure out their stuff. So we left it there, but he knows that we support him. All right?
We're gonna take one more from the audience, because I'm hearing people want to get on the turnpike, so. Well, I know that we're gonna be coming up on time, because it's gonna be 8 o'clock, but if you guys are comfortable with doing 2 more, we can do 2 more.
Because I got to get up this
I'm gonna get.
My name is Sergeant Major Wilson, retired Army, and also a retired, should I say, ball player in Eastern League. My question is, the gentleman on my left, you talked about, what's that, gang, the ball player? The money that he's making?
Yeah.
When it comes down to your sons, how did you instruct your son to invest their money?
I'll take care of that.
Go ahead, Bob. From the minute my son, older now, he was 17. When the minute he turned 17, he said he was going to Carolina. And then after he came to me and his mom, he said, hey man, I want to leave school and go into the draft. We made him sign a couple of things. One was, you're going to finish school. You're going to come back every year and finish school. 2 was, your dad, we going to have a committee. You, your dad, your mama. And if all 3 of us don't agree on nothing, you do nothing. So when I took him to a financial advisor, I made sure that financial advisor understood everything. I better see everything. Every month, every quarter, I better see everything. His coach in Carolina, he better see everything. His mom, she didn't want to have nothing to do with that. She said, I trust you to take care of that. And so I would also make them audit the organization. I would make the NBA audit that organization's financial organization every year. I made sure I watched and seen everything. I knew every penny he was spending, and he had to come through me to do anything. Nice. And so that's where you gotta get, that's why I tell you, what happens with a lot of these kids, they get the money, and their parents become afraid of them. Nah, I made it clear, bro. I'm still your dad. I don't care how much money you got. So you gotta teach your kids, and then you wanna teach them financial responsibility, especially at these ages now. Teach them about money and how to manage money. I don't care if it's $2, $3. Teach them about that stuff. So when they become old, as Black people, one of the areas that we don't go into, which I think we should, is financial area. We're not there, we need to be there, see? But constantly understand exactly what I'm saying. That's where we need to be at, so that we can know what's going on in the world with money. And so you guys mind about you teach your kids and start teaching them now about money. You know, the good, the bad, and managing it, keeping it. And so I made sure that my son, he didn't make no move without me. And there was times people have come up to him after games and said, Dad, did so-and-so come and talk to you? I said, no. And then I said, I knew right then and there, they wasn't about nothing. Because if it was a sham. Their job was to get money out your kid's pocket every day. And if it's a legitimate opportunity, they'll come to your dad. And he says, go see my dad. I ain't seen nobody. Because they knew they wouldn't get the answer they wanted. Yes. So that's my part here.
Let me start with the and you wrap it up with success.
Okay. In my case, when my son got drafted, I think at that time, the minimum for second round was $350. And you know that ain't nothing. So the first thing that he wanted the the Lincoln Navigator. All right? Now I'm telling you, his pockets was $350. And when you don't have experience and know-how about money, then you're gonna mess up money. And you may mess up a lot of money. My son don't drink, never did drugs or anything else. Material things, he got the best, but he earned it, and God had to strip him so that he'll understand that he wasn't invincible. And today, he's living his best life because he learned from his mistakes. We set up an allowance for him. Next thing I know, at least 5 times out of the week. See, this is the thing when you got wrong people around. Man, you letting them control your money. You letting them tell you what to do with your money. I worked all my life. And the day that he got drafted, I kissed him on his forehead because I didn't have to sit there and hold him because he was crying that he didn't make the NBA. I said, I gotta go to work in the morning, bye. And I left and I came home and got up to go to work. But make a long thing short so that I can give it to Karl. That contract he destroyed. I know the Strickland family. Anybody know Ron Strickland? Okay, there you go. I know the Strickland family and knew them very well. Ron Strickland was on the same team. He was the starting point guard when Shammgod got drafted. They just gave him a multi-million-dollar contract. His substitute, I don't know his name, he wound up getting a multi-million-dollar contract. So my third son was the third guard coming off the bench. So Ron called me one time and we had a conversation. He said, Mr. Sham, let me tell you something. He said, I don't want you to take it personal or get offensive by it. He said, but every NBA player that comes into this league runs through some money or get robbed because they don't know money. So he said that what's going on with Sham is that I could mess up some money because I got millions. Sham got to realize that he ain't got that second contract yet. And he got to put people in his corner that is going to support him rather than bring him down. Like these two gentlemen, my son 47, today he don't do nothing without running it by his dad or talking to his dad. He got to make the final decision, but he run it by him. And I tell him after 40-something years being around basketball and you going through the trials and tribulations that you have gone through with money, I trust you now. And he's done very well. And his blessing is that when he went overseas, they made him a millionaire. Okay, so you just said the first person that I ever heard about not wanting to come back to the NBA was Walter Barrett. Because when he went over there and they gave him $1 million, he said, I got my $1 million, I ain't coming back to you guys. You know, but no, when they go in there, it's either they friend or they pick the wrong agent and they don't pay attention to their money. So that's where, you know, a good parent and a kid that trusts his parent, they make sure that if they can't be the eyes and ears because they are playing the sport to get more money, their parents got to be there by their side.
My son was under the guidance of his mom. That's all I'm gonna say. My son cheap as hell. Listen, facts. My son still use coupons. He don't care. I ain't mad at it. Because you wanna know something? Coupons is out there for a reason. Seriously. So Karl was like, oh, 2 for 1. And the thing about it is because before she passed, he's never went off his allowance. You know how you get in the NBA, they get a certain amount of money a month? He stayed with his budget. My son has not spent $1 of his contract. Because his endorsements is good enough. Because he has a philosophy that when he leaves the NBA, you will never see him on 30 for 30.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Carl.
And seriously, and that's why I have so much respect for him, because he goes on these trips, sees it, but I know that he's made it to where the trip is something that he's doing, that he's getting rewarded for being there for a reason. Because if they're traveling, they're doing good. I told him all the time, enjoy life. He said, you know, I am. And I watch him. The cat's always doing something. But I can honestly tell you, he's very, very conservative with what he earned. He said, I don't need 5 cars. I don't need 6 houses. I don't need whatever. He said, I need 1 house, 1 bed. I'm good. He said, I have certain things because the taxes kill you in the NBA. Trust me when I tell you. But in terms of that, he stays within his limits. His people do a good job. I follow up with him. And I, you know, as a dad, I said, how you doing? I know he's doing good because I watch what he do. He don't overspend. He stays with his budget. That's what I love about him. He's always looking about his future because he has 3 things in life that he's trying to do. A, he's gonna make sure that all his kids and everybody's good. 2, he doesn't never want anybody to say he was wrong. And his main thing, you know, this cat's trying to build a hospital in Dominican Republic.
Thank you for asking that question. You brothers on 30 for 30 did an episode, it was called Broke. If you can Google it and check it out, you will see whether they was football players, basketball players, whatever sport they was in. They talk about all the guys that made excellent money and wound up broke. And you will be surprised at some of the guys that's on that documentary.
We got one question in the back here.
That's all right, man. That's what I'm coming for. Come here, man. Oh, come here, man. Come here. Okay, because I don't have more 5 on here, but here's some of my starting 3. PS 153. On color school, right? Yeah. All right, recognize, man. Tell him it's her. Ron Hartridge, Real Dance Network, but today we're repping the Fathers of Helen Keller, and these are my starting 3. Especially this gentleman right here. All right? You guys learn something today? Okay, what you learned?
I learned how to like pass correctly, like to do my form,
Okay, and Lauren? You didn't? I'm gonna get here in the middle. We gotta get that lesson. All right, gentlemen, y'all know tomorrow when we're in the lunchroom, you know what we're gonna be talking about, right? Okay, you guys are in front of something special right now. But you know what? They're in front of something that's even more special.
Yes, sir.
It's nothing better than your future. Yeah. You're not here to not learn anything. You're here to make sure that you get something. To any of you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pick on one. Come on, crossover. What you want to know from these cats?
I wanted to like know like who's your favorite player and why.
Marvin Williams Sr. Don't let them go no place yet. Let me ask you guys something. Who's your hero? No, who's your inspiration? Who?
My parents and my grandparents.
Same
for me.
All right.
Keep that attitude, keep that spirit, and you know something, you are the first bunch of guys that I have ever asked that question that did not pick somebody outside of their parents. You see them every day, you talk to them every day, they see you when you cry, they see you when you laugh, they see everything about you, and you know the struggles they go to, so you always big them up and show them the love and respect that you're supposed to. And Coach, I watched that first row. Thank you very much because they listen passionately.
So I want to say thank you. Again, extremely inspirational. I've learned a lot. I learned, we need to listen to our kids, help encourage them. It's their dreams, it's not our dreams. That's the biggest thing that I learned. It is their dreams, not my dreams. So thank you for that. And also thank Derek and the council member. Final words?
Derek, do me a favor, thanks for parents for
There you go, parents. We want to thank you guys for coming out. And let's give another round of applause for Eric Hicks and the game all the team. Let's go to the performance of Vintage Praise. I also want to thank the Real Dads team for coming out and being a part of this. I want to say this, Kevin Raleigh, he didn't pay me to say this, but we need to say it. He is adamant. He's passionate about fatherhood. He's passionate about fatherhood. He is running for city council, right? And we want to make sure, he's not paying me to say this, but I know what his brother's heart is, I know what his passion is. So we want to make sure we really get behind his brother and support him in every way that we can. So we got to make sure that we don't just do it in words, but we got to do it in action. We really got to support his brother. So I want to turn it over to Councilman Kevin Raleigh. Thank you, brother, for all of your support, all that you do, man. I love you, I love you, I love you, brother.
Did you guys have a good time tonight? All right, we learned a lot. We were graced by the presence of these amazing men up here. The reason why I'm so invested in fatherhood, I lost my father to incarceration at 7 years old. I didn't see my father until 20 years after that, when I had my daughter. So there was a lot of pain that I went through, and that's why I want to highlight fatherhood, because being a father is extremely important to me. And I want to make sure that those young men and those young women out there understand that having a father is crucially important to your growth and your development. Having both parents is crucially important to your growth and development. So for these brothers to come out here today, and even to talk about financial literacy, that's my story. I talk about that today because finances is important. Yeah. But I'm so happy, and to the parents, man. I know y'all just came from work. I know y'all tired, but y'all stood here today and stayed with your youth, and I really appreciate that. I'm gonna do another shameless plug. Fathers, we gotta get some yoga in, man. So, if you're interested, please sign up. But thank you so much for having us here today to the YMCA, Real Dads Network, all the kids, the parents, basketball fathers up here, NBA dads, my staff. I want to give a shout out to my staff. I got Lena, I got Michelle, and then I have my boss right there. I may be the council member, but that's my boss right there, my chief of staff. If you ever watch Scandal, you know what chief of staff is. That was my Silas right there, all right? So thank you so much. Everyone give a shake, y'all. Oh, and my brother Eric Hicks. I know Derek said it, but thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you.
They need